Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. Some midnight musings for you today. Usually I don't upload videos this late. In fact, I think this is probably the latest I've ever uploaded and released a video. But I felt compelled today. I have a feeling, guys, that something is not right in the force, and I'm going to tell you why. This is going to be a hot take, so I hope you got your big bag of salt ready. All right? So what do we got going on in the world all at once? Well, we got the fact that we're on the cusp of thermonuclear war. We all know that. We have the rising cost of living, which is through the roof. Most people who are working an average job really can't get by. They're living paycheck to paycheck, or they're going perpetually into more debt, right? We also have, of course, the bloodbath on Wall Street today. A lot of people lost a lot of money. Stock market is tanking. It's down, I think the NASDAQ is down about 30%. I'm not sure what the S&P is down. They're saying it's still not a recession, of course. You know, you got to tick all these boxes, whatever. It's a recession. We all know it. And the reason why it's a recession is simple. I mean, they're not factoring in the wild cost that inflation, the toll that inflation takes on your stocks. See, when you take that money, if you cash out that stock, what is that money now going to buy? It's going to buy a lot less. So add on to the losses, or subtract probably is a better word to not confuse people. Add on to the losses, okay, a 20% additional loss because of inflation. That's what your stocks are really worth right now. Why is that? Why is this happening all at once? And why suddenly, and seemingly, I should say, because this is not necessarily a fact, this is just my opinion, suddenly attention is being taken away from the war that's going on there, the big war, right? Which was all over the headlines. Suddenly, the media is starting to pull back, like in unison. Every single media news network is pulling away in unison. Why is that? Like almost like it was planned that way. Okay, and no, I'm not suggesting it is, by the way. I know some people really want to go off that cliff all the time at top speed, but I'm a bit more reserved in going in certain places because you just never know. Sometimes people are just that stupid, and by people I mean the media. So why is it that they took their cameras that were pointing at this event and just shifted it over to this Roe versus Wade thing? All of a sudden, like convenient, so convenient that now everybody's going to be fighting with each other about another domestic issue, which is not going to factor into people's ability to pay their bills or prevent thermonuclear war, whatever the case might be. As important of an issue as it is, and I understand that there's a lot of people who are passionate about it, but at the end of the day, there's things that are more important. And look, you know, from a spiritual standpoint, I understand why some people would put that first, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of people would die. More people are going to get terminated and aborted if we go to war. That's the truth. And we need to kind of prioritize things. Now, that's not to say, and let me just say this, that's not to say that we should take attention away from these domestic issues and that we should devote all our attention to one thing and get lost in the big picture. We absolutely need to focus on local laws, legislations, regional, statewide, county, whatever they might be that are going through, you know, because that's really what's going to ultimately, at the end of the day, affect a lot of people's lives. So we can't just, let things slide as well. But it does start to seem like this is a very convenient way to gin up civil unrest in the United States. Think about it. We got an election coming. All of a sudden, nobody has enough money to live anymore. Or a lot of people don't have enough money to live anymore because, the money is just not buying as much as it once did. Or if it is, it's buying crap, which is not keeping you healthy. You can't buy healthy food. The cost of healthy foods, that are going to help you think and function properly and not rely on healthcare are not there. It's just, it's not a possibility for people in this market. So what better way to take attention away from that than get people fighting with one another? I mean, it's a magic bullet, really, because it also takes attention away from the fact that maybe, just maybe, this is pure speculation because I don't know what's going on over there. Maybe it's not going as good as our war hawks would like us to think. I just want to make sure this microphone is finely tuned. Maybe it's not going as good as our officials claim it is. Maybe the Russians are actually winning the war, and it's by and large, going to end in our defeat, at least in that theater. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the topic of that, a lot of people, I understand why people want to support in some capacity, and I do believe in supporting Ukraine in some capacity. Definitely, absolutely, without a doubt. In a militaristic capacity, though, obviously, there's other things to consider, like nuclear Armageddon, and that is just obvious. That is the reason why, then that is the only reason why, that we're not in there like a dirty shirt full on, because obviously it would immediately escalate to World War III. So they're tiptoeing the line. It just all seems very, very convenient that suddenly we are going to see this civil unrest foment over this one issue. And just like they turned off a light switch or something. And I don't think it's going to be as substantial as George Floyd, but this could be the first in a string of stories that gets people fighting with one another. Because look, if you're at a point in history where people are getting insurmountably wealthy, I mean, we call the guys over there oligarchs, but I think, what is an oligarch? What is an oligarch? We have like the richest people in the world. I mean, they're making these speculations that such and such may have this wealth, and we don't know how much wealth they have. But really, I mean, do we know how much wealth the Queen has? There's a lot of people you could say that about, okay? And we don't call them oligarchs. We don't even call the actual like aristocratic monarchy oligarchs. Think about that. Anyways, the psychology is staggering. This is what happens when you have midnight musings as a prepper on the Canadian Prepper YouTube channel. I probably shouldn't upload this video, damn it. But I probably will, because what the hell? I mean, time is probably running thin for most of us, so it is what it is. But it does seem very convenient that now, while you have, we're entering an era of possible trillionaires, and people can barely muster enough resources together to eat a decent meal and pay their bills, if they can even get stuff because of this broken supply chain, it's very convenient that now they're going to be fighting with one another and not focusing on you, right? Think about it. Think. Jeez. It's incredible. All of a sudden. Now, will they shift attention back to that theater of war? Probably. Probably, because it's very, very rare. I don't think it's really occurred that often at all, that you have a war. I mean, maybe, I guess, World War II, I wasn't alive, obviously, but I'm sure after, Pearl Harbor, people were like, all right, let's do this. Like, that was a legit cause, to go. Like, there was no question at that point in time that, we have the capability to intervene. There wasn't a fear of nuclear annihilation of the species. So that was like the ideal time. That was the perfect war for us to get involved in. But it's very rare after that, if ever, have the war hawks and the interventionists of the world had a situation where it is a just cause to want to help Ukrainian people. I totally understand it. And that's why I say in some capacity we should help. However, we need to be careful. But it's very rare that they have this opportunity, and they're foaming at the mouth at this opportunity, because most of the time people are against war. Now, obviously, we're not directly engaging, but they're trying to milk it for what they can, obviously. That's obvious. Let's face it. I mean, as much as some of the things that these companies and corporations and the lobbyists that surround them, as useful as the tools that they bring to the table are at certain times, it's undeniable that they're not losing sleep about making buckets and buckets full of cash when disaster strikes. Like, really, do you think the owners of some of the medical corporations who profited like substantially leaps and bounds, doubling, if not tripling, the size of their companies? Do you think they were really saddened by everything that was going on? And I'm not saying that, these people are not people and they don't have hearts and stuff like this. I'm just saying that clearly there's a profit motive, obviously. So we would be fools to believe. My phone's going to die. Holy crap. I better wrap this up. Maybe that's the universe's sign to get off the mic. What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about comparison of the CEOs of Pfizer and stuff like that. What they do is important, it's useful, but clearly there's a profit motive to be had here. And we would be very foolish to presume that they're losing sleep over. I think I'm just repeating myself now. But I think this market crash is going to get a lot worse. As we talked about earlier today, the World Bank is predicting prices are going to increase much further from here. They're talking about another 50% increase in certain commodities. Gas, oil, natural gas. The price of food is projected to increase even more. Now, all of a sudden, they're silent about what's going on over there. Is it because we're losing? I mean, is it? I don't know. I'm not saying it is the case or it isn't the case. We're losing and the market's going to crap because we're losing, or that's kind of wound up in it. And the people with big money who are liquidating know that, and they want to get us all fighting with each other. Is that the reason why? I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just a man recovering from an illness. In fact, the reason why I'm making this video, guys, I went for a run later tonight. Usually when I'm at the tail end of getting over a cold, I try to run it out just to, get all the toxins and the scum of, just slumbering around, trying to recuperate for the last few days. I find it just restarts the engines a bit. And and sometimes when I go for a run, I get these glimpses of the future. It's like the universe just gives me a glimpse, just, really quickly. Just a quick snapshot of what's going on. And if I don't get the video out, I forget, So anyways, maybe some of this made sense. Maybe it didn't make any sense at all. Could all be BS. You tell me. Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe. Get some rest. Canadian Prepper out.